Hello everyone, welcome to a Facebook Live. It's a little bit different today because I've got a brand new kit for you, and it isn't one that's come from my hub, but this is one that has come from Papercrafter, and it's actually a free gift that you get in the issue of the magazine. But I wanted to give you a few little tips and techniques of what you could make with it. It's pretty exciting because this is artwork that's generated from my hub but is being brought to you by one of the fabulous publications in the craft industry. So first of all, you're going to get a stamp and an embossing folder, which is really exciting. And then we've got a whole bundle of crafting goodies. So there's everything from sequins to acetate to templates in here. We've got some die cut flowers that are already done for you, some beautiful butterflies, backing papers and cardstock. So I'm going to leave you to go through that in detail. But what I am going to do is I'm going to show you a few little tips and techniques. But before we do that, let's say hello to a few of you. So hello to everybody who is just joining us. It's a real pleasure to have your company. And of course, wow, isn't it exciting that we're moving on to the next phase of this lockdown lifting. So yesterday I got to see a very, very close friend of mine, the lovely Nancy Watt, and it's, you know, Nancy and I haven't been able to spend as much time together over this last year because, of course, we're in different households. So it's been quite a challenge, but it was so nice to see her. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to do some Facebook Lives together soon. So watch this space. But let me share with you a couple of little tricks. So you're going to get a template included in here. And the template itself has actually 4 different shapes on it. Now, to use it, the best way of getting started is to actually cut this out so that you cut out the shape that you want first. Now, if you've got dies at home, then you could obviously use your dies, but I'm going to show for those of you that don't have dies how to actually do this cutting. So I've taken one of the pieces of card that's in this kit, and I'm going to cut an aperture in here, and I'm actually going to cut it with a circle. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not very good at cutting circles. Well, I'm going to show you a couple of little tricks. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is we need to tape this down, because that will make the difference. So I've got some very low tack tape, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to de-tack it on the back of my hand. So let's just do it. And then I'm going to actually just pop this on here. So use that, just hold a couple of the corners in place. Now, I don't want it to hold my card to my glass mat, so I'm just going to need to move that piece there. So hello, thank you. It's a real pleasure to have your company. Feels like ages since I've done one of these. You can probably hear from my voice, I've had a little bit of, so it's been very quiet at home, and Carl's got used to talking to Darcy and Betty, and actually, in fact, Darcy's now answering him, not in human talk, but in her own little noise. And it's quite interesting how my place has been very quickly filled. This is what we're going to do. So you need a very sharp scalpel or craft knife. It's really important. And it's a bit like cutting knives in the kitchen. If you've got sharp instruments, you very rarely cut yourself, but without them, it's easy for it to cut. So what we do is we go in stock and we just slide the knife. First of all, slide it a little bit, and I'm going to come up on the point, and I'm then going to, and as I work, I've got the pressure on my blade and I'm turning my work, and you can see me just starting to turn that as I'm going, and I'm getting a good sharp cut there. I'm just going to just check whether I'm going all the way through. Now, I'm not, but I'm not going to worry about that, because what I am going to be doing is getting a good impression of where I'm going to need to go back into it. And because I'm turning it and I'm keeping my fingers to the side, it's a bit like when you're chopping with a in the kitchen, keep your fingers so that you've mostly out the way. Well, out the way. You're not mostly out the way. It's important that they do stay out the way. But look at how I'm taking my work, and that is going to give me a much smoother circle than I would have had if I'd been doing this. So keep turning. Got just a very narrow cut there on the edge of the paper, so I'm going to keep that there. I felt that go through the card then, which is really good. Right, now I have gone all the way. Oh no, I haven't quite gone all the way around. Let me just come back. I'm going to keep going. So make sure you don't have your fingers here as well, because if this were to slip, it would slip into your hands to the side of the blade. That's really important. And also notice how I'm laying the blade down. I'm not using the very tip of it. I'm using the actual blade to do the cutting. So I'm taking the edge of it and I'm really laying it. So I've got a much better cut, and I can feel now where it's gliding through the glass. And I'm just gonna be careful on this little bit because I've got, there's my cut. Right, I'll lift this circle out so that you can see how perfect it is. Look at that, it's so pristine the way I've cut there. I'm gonna lift up my work, so I'm gonna take that off, and I'm going to use the shape that I've already got here and this cut to be able to cut into it. And you can see now, I can see where I've gone and I can see where I need to go. It's really easy because the blade is now just sliding in that recess that I've already created. So it is literally sliding ground there as I'm cutting. Let's just get that piece out. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll the edge of that grey card round. And you can see I've got a lovely, really just nice and smooth and clean. So when I then come to put that onto one of the panels that I've got a great, and it's ready for me to be able to craft with. And then I flowers to one side, I can create a shaker with it. I've got lots of different effects that I can create. So I just want to show you another quick tip, and that one is don't throw it away, because these will make great tags or even cards. So this one I could be folding in half and making a little mini rocker, or in fact I'm going to show you how to use this to make the rest of your cards go a little bit further. So what I need to do now is just take this one. So I'm going to work with this one. So this is a greeting card. It's ready for us to work with. And I'm just going to cut this in half. So I'm going down the score line like that. So I've now created 2 card fronts. But of course that now, unless I folded it in half, isn't going to stand up on its own. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this piece to make a back for this. So here's what we do. We're going to fold this in half. Get my scoreboard. Let's do this properly. So fold it in half and score it. Then we're going to open and put that on there, and I'm going to score. So I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's 8 there. There we go. So we're going to make a little stand like this, okay? And then what we do here is we're just going to trim this piece off like that. And this makes me so excited when we're saving paper and cardstock and using everything up. So I'm then going to stick this in position. So let's do that just quickly with some So I've got some double-sided finger lift tape here. So I'll put you in there and get the back off that. And then on there and a piece on there. At home, take a little bit more time. Get this absolutely perfect. And then that closes up. Don't close it all together. So you need that piece. That needs leaving open. And then we're going to position this in the middle and upright. So that's about it. And a good way of checking if it's in the middle is use your glass cutting mat or your cutting mat. Check your distance on either side. And then we just lean that back like that. So even the aperture that you've cut, you can use to actually create an extra card. And I just love the fact that there's so much in here with so many different things that you can do. So let's look at another quick way of saving a few elements. So here I've got a lovely piece that would mat and layer on top. And the other thing that I would say to you is, you know, just adding a little bit of white card to it, because a little bit of white would just make it go that little bit further. With this pretty design that I've got here, I'm just going to tear a long design and we're going to create a little pocket. So we've made ourselves just a little pocket that's going to sit to the front, and then we can take little cards that I've got here, and this is just one of the small little mini greeting cards that you could be creating, and we can be tucking these inside our pockets. So lots of different little things that you can do. And don't forget those beautiful butterflies that are all fabulously foiled to give us that extra little bit of luxury are going to lend themselves sitting on the top. So lots of beautiful ideas, little tricks and little tips that are going to change the way that you craft. Oh, and let me just show you one more quick thing. Show you how to make this pocket three-dimensional so that you don't just have to put a little card in it, but you could put a little gift in. So we're going to come back onto our scoreboard to score at 1/2 inch or 1 centimetre. So I'm just going to turn that round so that on each occasion I know that I'm going to actually do it like this, so I can use my 1/2 inch there. So that's the first of the score lines. Then I'm going to score again on a 3/4, and I'm just going to turn that over and score again on 3/4. So I've got 2 score lines on here. So you can see there the lines. Come into here and I'm just going to cut. I need to make myself a couple of little tabs. And so the first place that I'm going to cut is there. It's along the inside of the most inside score line. Let me think of another way of explaining that. So if you go to the outside edge and you go all the way in to the play score line, it's into that point. So you're going to get that effect. And then what we're folding this around. Can you see how we're making a little box? And this one we're going to fold round and do the same thing like that. And then this is where we need to do another little cut, and I need to